bike is ready and your route mapped, but have you packed the small gear that prevents big problems? Stick around. We're covering 15 forgotten essentials riders swear by. A tire plug kit and a mini air compressor can mean the difference between riding on and waiting hours for a tow. Imagine you're miles from the nearest station when the bike starts to wobble. You pull over, spot a nail lodged in the tread, and suddenly the day feels finished. But with the right kit, that same problem can be fixed in minutes. One rider shared how he caught a slow leak from a nail, slipped in a plug, and refilled just enough air to finish a long day's ride instead of paying for recovery. That's the payoff here. Quick, cheap, and effective when your tires are tubeless. If your bike runs tubes, though, a plug won't work, so know your setup before you depend on it. Before you leave, check that the rubber cement is fresh and everything's in working order. Store the kit with the compressor in an easy spot, not buried, so it's there when you need it. Staying mobile solves one kind of problem, but being comfortable on the road can be just as important. Wet wipes or a roll of toilet paper might not sound like riding gear, but you'll be glad to have them when nature calls and there's no restroom in sight. One rider shared how food poisoning hit during a long trip, and that single roll of toilet paper turned what could have been a disaster into something manageable. It seems trivial until it isn't. Beyond emergencies, they're useful in small ways every rider encounters. Cleaning up after a meal, wiping down dirty gloves, dealing with greasy hands after a roadside fix, or even clearing bug splatter off a visor. They take little space and weigh next to nothing, which makes them easy to pack. Keep them in a Ziploc bag and stash them in an outside pocket where you don't need to unpack everything to reach them quickly. Solving basic needs gives you peace of mind, but sometimes it's the unfamiliar warning light on your bike that demands the right preparation. A digital copy of your service manual might not seem urgent until something stops working mid-ride. Storing a PDF version on your phone or a small USB drive gives you instant access to the exact torque values, fuse ratings, and wiring diagrams your bike needs in the moment. Riders who've been stranded far from home report that mechanics often ask for model-specific specs. Having them on hand turns a trial-and-error repair into a quick, accurate fix. The best setup is simple. Save the manufacturer's service manual to both your phone and a USB stick. Then keep the USB in a water-resistant pouch with the rest of your gear. Just make sure you download or cache the file for offline use. Cell service is unreliable in the places you're most likely to need it. With that resource at hand, you're far less likely to be stuck guessing. Still, sometimes it's not about knowing the numbers, but about holding things together long enough to keep moving. Halfway up a mountain road, your pannier latch gives out and the box starts swinging. Every bump makes it rattle harder, and you're suddenly worried more about flying luggage than the view you came here for. Stopping isn't optional. You need something that can hold it together right now. This is where zip ties and duct tape earn their reputation. A few zip ties pulled tight around the latch will keep the box secure, while a strip of duct tape across the edge stops it from rubbing and wearing further until you can get proper parts. The fix takes minutes, but it turns a trip-ending failure into a minor inconvenience. Pack a small roll of duct tape or wrap a length around a straw for space saving, and carry zip ties in a mix of sizes, along with a pair of side cutters to remove them cleanly. That way, whatever shakes loose can be handled on the roadside. Of course, the next challenge isn't always mechanical. Rain gear is the safeguard that keeps a ride from turning miserable the moment clouds roll in. One minute the sky looks harmless, the next you're soaked and chilled with water creeping into your gloves and jeans. That discomfort hits fast, and it drains your energy and focus far more quickly than you think. A compact rain suit with glove covers is the simple fix. They slip on in minutes, block both rain and wind, and keep your body temperature stable so you can stay sharp on the road. Riders repeatedly say forgetting rain gear is their biggest regret. The trick is not just carrying it, but stowing it in an easy-to-reach pocket so you can grab it without unpacking. Put it on at the first sign of showers. Waiting only means wet clothes trapped underneath, which can lead to fatigue or even hypothermia. Staying dry preserves clarity and endurance, both of which matter just as much in the heat. When the heat builds on long rides, water isn't just comfort, it's survival. A hydration bladder makes it possible to drink without pulling over, keeping you topped up mile after mile. The hose rests near your shoulder so you can sip while staying focused on the road. Riders recommend either tucking a camelback under your jacket or mounting a bladder in the tank bag. Little tweaks make it easier to use, like an L-shaped bite valve or a magnetic clip to keep the hose accessible. One rider even reported finishing a hot day after drinking almost 2 gallons, a reminder of how fast dehydration can creep up. Heat exhaustion isn't just a desert issue. It can strike in mild weather under heavy gear. To build the habit, take a sip every time you stop or when you put your helmet on. Staying hydrated sharpens your concentration, but attention also slips away when noise becomes overwhelming. Wind blasting around your helmet isn't just irritating, it builds into real fatigue over time, and the constant roar can cause permanent hearing loss if you ignore it. Riders often underestimate how loud highway wind noise is. Decibel levels can rival industrial job sites where hearing protection is mandatory. Once you've damaged your ears, that ringing never goes away. Reusable earplugs are the straightforward fix. They cut the wind roar dramatically, while still letting you hear your engine, sirens, and the flow of traffic. Many riders prefer models rated around -32 decibels of attenuation, which take the edge off without isolating you from what matters. Some even find music or comms sound clearer because the background blast is reduced. The benefit shows up quickly. Longer rides feel less draining, and your hearing stays intact for years to come. It's a simple piece of gear that pays off every ride, just like carrying the right tools when the bike itself needs attention. A couple hundred miles into the trip, a sharp rattle interrupts the rhythm of the ride. A bolt has worked itself loose, shaking harder with every bump. It's a quick fix if you've got the exact tool that fits your bike's hardware. Without it, even a simple adjustment can become a roadside problem that forces you off the road. That's why riders emphasize carrying a compact, bike-specific toolkit. Instead of hauling an entire box, build a roll that matches your motorcycle's actual needs. The socket and Allen sizes listed in your owner's manual, along with a few proven essentials. Riders often suggest a multi-tool like a Leatherman, a 10mm wrench, an adjustable wrench, screwdrivers, and a spark plug wrench. Generic kits sometimes miss by just a millimeter, and the wrong fit risks stripping bolts or rounding edges. Pack the roll in a labeled pouch or tie it down somewhere accessible so it's ready when needed, because the road also throws challenges that aren't mechanical. You're riding through damp air when your visor fogs, and suddenly every corner feels harder to judge. Or maybe the rain has stopped, but your jacket still clings cold against your skin. Small discomforts like that build quickly if you don't have a way to dry off. A microfiber towel solves the problem. It folds into almost no space, absorbs water better than cotton, and dries much faster. Unlike paper towels or rough cloths, it won't scratch delicate surfaces like a visor or helmet shield, so you can safely clear condensation, bugs, or light rain streaks. Riders also use them for quick jobs like wiping chain lube off their hands, drying gloves, or even sitting on a damp surface during a break. Store it where you can reach it fast, like a tank bag or a top pocket, so it's ready when needed. And sometimes, staying ready means being able to see clearly when daylight fades. When the bike cuts out at dusk and you reach for tools, the first challenge is often light. Straining to see bolts and connectors in the fading glow is frustrating, and a phone flashlight wedged under your chin never works for long. A rechargeable headlamp solves that. Because it follows your line of sight, your hands stay free to tighten, pull, and adjust with precision. Riders repeatedly mention finishing roadside fixes quickly at night because of a headlamp, while those without often had no choice but to wait until morning. That difference can mean salvaging a day's ride instead of losing it. It's just as versatile off the bike. Setting up camp, cooking, or inspecting a chain at night all become far easier. Carry one with spare batteries or a small USB charging cable tucked into your kit so it's ready when you need it most. Light keeps you moving forward, but every mile also depends on keeping power flowing to the devices you trust. Your You're following forest roads with GPS guiding every turn when you glance down and see your phone battery draining fast. Bright screens, constant navigation, and Bluetooth all pull power quicker than expected. And that low red icon is a warning you can't ignore. An extra USB charger, or an SAE to USB adapter, turns that problem around. Plugged into your bike's battery tender lead or the accessory port. If your motorcycle has one, it gives steady power to your phone, GPS, comms unit, or even a GoPro while you keep moving. Riders consistently recommend the SAE option for reliability. It's simple to connect and makes your bike a dependable charging station. For practical setup, secure the adapter wiring neatly and protect it from the weather so it won't get snagged or pulled loose on the road. With that, your electronics stay powered during the ride. But when the engine stops and you're far from outlets, another backup becomes just as critical. At camp, away from outlets and with your bike turned off, your devices still demand power for maps, messages, and emergencies. This is where a backup power bank makes a real difference. A compact, high-capacity bank sized to the number of devices you rely on, whether that's just your phone or also comms and a GPS unit, keeps everything running when the motorcycle can't. Riders often favor versions designed for phones and smaller electronics, while those carrying camera gear sometimes choose larger models. The point is to match the bank to your actual setup so you're not caught short. Be intentional about placement too. Stash the bank in your luggage where it's easy to grab at camp instead of buried deep in the gear you won't touch until morning. That way, when the bike isn't an option, you still have stored energy on hand. Power keeps you connected, but movement and efficiency also depend on mechanical upkeep during long days on the road. After a long stretch of highway, the sound is hard to miss, a faint rattle creeping in as the chain runs dry. It's more than noise. A neglected chain can wear quickly, sap efficiency, and lead to expensive repairs far sooner than you'd expect. Touring riders often re-lube after full days on the road, and some make it a habit after long highway sections where the chain runs hotter and dirt builds up faster. The fix is simple. Carry a travel-size can of chain lube and a compact brush, stored with your toolkit so it's easy to reach at stops. A quick clean and spray keep the links smooth, prevent grit from grinding them apart, and extend the life of your drivetrain. This small routine takes minutes, but it keeps the ride steady and predictable when the miles add up. Of course, not every problem comes from below the bike. Sometimes it's about what fails in front of you. A failed headlight or taillight can shut down your ride faster than any mechanical issue. When darkness falls and a bulb burns out, the road ahead disappears, and you're left choosing between unsafe riding or waiting until daylight. Some riders have even resorted to taping flashlights to their handlebars just to limp to the next stop. A clear reminder of how disruptive a simple bulb failure can be. Carrying spare bulbs is an easy safeguard. They're small, light, and quick to swap roadside, but only if you've checked your bike's exact bulb types before the trip. Pack them in a water-resistant container, labeled for fast access, and include a small tool and a short roll of tape in the same kit so you're ready for a proper replacement without fumbling through luggage. That little kit takes up almost no space, yet it restores visibility and legality in minutes. Staying prepared for the dark keeps you moving forward with confidence, but another challenge comes when your own reserves start to run low. Hunger can set in quietly on long stretches of road, and out here there's rarely a cafe or gas station when you need one. Once it hits, focus slips, decision-making slows, and irritation creeps in, none of which you want while handling a motorcycle. That's why compact, calorie-dense snacks are worth carrying. Protein bars, trail mix, or even jerky work well because they're filling, easy to eat one-handed at a stop, and small enough to tuck into a jacket pocket or tank bag. Quick bites like these keep your blood sugar steady, which means sharper reactions and better attention on the road. Long-distance riders often see these snacks not as extras, gear alongside tools or rain covers. They provide just enough fuel to carry you safely between towns without adding bulk. Small details like this often decide how smooth your day runs, and they're the same kind of details that make or break a trip overall. Long motorcycle trips are about freedom, but that freedom lasts only when you're prepared for small problems. A flat tire, dead phone, or broken latch doesn't need to end a ride if you've packed the essentials. Think of these 15 items as simple, lightweight insurance insurance that keeps the journey going instead of stalling on the roadside. Before your next trip, take 30 seconds to check one pocket of your bag. Make sure at least one item from this list is there and ready. Let us know in the comments the small piece of gear you never leave home without, and subscribe if you want more practical, road-tested tips. Pack smart, ride farther.